Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in for the this newest installment of board meeting recaps. Just last night, we were able to go to Owyhee for our school board meeting, and so got a quick recap for you here today. We started it out by welcoming our student board member named Caden Owyhee. Bears the same last name as his school, which is pretty cool. So Caden was there with us representing all students at Owyhee Combined Schools, and grateful for his participation. We then got to hear from a couple pretty amazing students. The first one named Madison Jones, and then she was followed by Tsiavi Melendez. And these two students were the first and second grand prize winners in our Elko County STEM Fair. Tsiavi was the first grand prize, and Madison the second. They both had similar projects in that they were looking at the effects of local plants and items that they have around them and how those impact cancer cells. And so they were studying those from both like a historical but also kind of a cultural nature, and it was just a really great way to see how they not only they did that but how they partnered with Boise State University and the chemistry and biology teams there at Boise State, and just a really phenomenal collaboration and partnership, and just a great application of the science they've been learning at school, as well as what they're passionate about with things close to home and to their heart. So that was awesome to hear from them, and congratulations to them. They will be going on to Dallas sometime soon to participate in the national fair that has to do with those projects. So congratulations to them. Our first item, after the presentations were over, we then received some public comment, and thankful to those community members who came and gave public comment. They gave public comment generally about some of the items that we're going to discuss later in the meeting, and so the first one of those was Owyhee gave a presentation to the school board on a proposal to join the rest of the district at this point in changing to a 4-day model for the 23-24 school year and on. So the campus administration presented data, arguments for why it would be beneficial, much of the same that we've heard from previous presentations. The board heard more public comment on the topic from staff, from community members, from parents, and from students as well. And after all of that, the presentation, the public comment, and everything was heard, the board moved to approve the change for Owyhee to 4-day for next year, so that they will join at this point the rest of the district in that move for next school year. Following the Owyhee 4-day conversation, the next item was an approval of the alternative calendars. An alternative calendar simply means that the school district operates on a calendar other than the minimum number of minutes for 180 school days in the year. So as we go into a 4-day model for all of our schools next year, all of our schools would necessarily be on an alternative calendar because we will have fewer than 180 days and more minutes than a minimum number of minutes. So that was just kind of a housekeeping type thing that we have to turn into the state before May 1st. So those were approved, and we will send those into the state. The next agenda item for business was Owyhee's graduation ceremony. Normally, according to district policy, those graduation ceremonies must take place on the same day as the last day of school. Owyhee was seeking some flexibility in that to do it either on that Friday or that Saturday, because there is a possibility that they will be receiving a visit from one of our senators for the state, Senator Cortez Masto, was requested to attend and has indicated some interest in that. It's not confirmed that that's happening, so I don't want to spread any rumors that she's coming, but they wanted to have some flexibility to be able to hold that graduation either on that Friday or that Saturday. So that was approved as well. The next item was, now that we've got our strategic plan accepted and in place, the board has been anxiously waiting to establish board goals for our school district, and they're going to do that in the form of developing those through a workshop. And so it was a simple selection of a date and time when they would do that, and when they're going to do that is the same day as our next board meeting, which is Tuesday, May 9th. However, they're going to do that workshop a few hours before the regularly scheduled board meeting. So that board workshop goals session is scheduled to start at 1 p.m. on May 9th. That is because it is a board workshop. It is subject to open meeting law, so anyone is able to tune in, to come physically, to be there, to just witness how that works itself out, if that's something you're interested in being present for. Whatever goals do get established would get presented before the public to get any feedback and input. So it's that's kind of the way that process works. But by way of information, May 9th, 1 p.m., there will be a board goals workshop, and that will be posted in the same fashion in advance as we post every other board meeting that is subject to open meeting law. The last item of business was we did it was a non-action item, but it was a review of policy JGD, which mostly governs how our district handles transportation for students, and in this case, it was specifically to look at the what are called subsistence payments, and so those. There's a mechanism in place for if our transportation is unable to go all the way out to certain people's homes because it is economically not feasible for the district to do so, then there are things that are called in lieu of payments, and that means instead of us paying too much to have buses go out to somewhere, then we give people a certain amount of money per mile to be able to either come to the bus or come to the school. Or there's also something for boarding. So if maybe someone simply chooses, instead of trying to do those logistics every day, we will simply just stay somewhere close to the school for the school week or whatever days they're in attendance at school. And then, so the reason it was brought before us was because it was in response to public comment. We do listen during public comment, and a couple of meetings ago, public comment pointed out that it's been decades that amount has been $10 per day for boarding. And so that person indicated they thought that was not enough money, and so I was tasked with looking at that and bringing it before the board at an upcoming meeting. So after doing some investigation and research, it turns out that the $10 maximum is actually a maximum not from us, but a maximum from the state. It's in NRS that the school district shall not pay more than $10 a day for subsistence payments. So, however, there were some other language cleanup that was suggested for that policy, so that policy will be brought back to our next board meeting for a few minor changes. And that was the end of our business items. Just a couple other things I want to add and make sure people hear about in case you haven't heard, is a reminder that next Monday, which is May 1st at 5:30 p.m., we will have our budget forum meeting, and that is an opportunity for the general public to hear all about our proposed budget that we send to the state by the end of the month of May. And so it's kind of a delve and a deep look into what our proposed budget's going to look like. It's also an opportunity to ask any questions. With a budget the size we have, and the many different ways that money is spent to keep a school district running, there are often a lot of questions. Well, how is that money being spent? And this is a wonderful opportunity to ask those questions. Yes, we have a portal online where anyone could go down the massive rabbit hole that is the budget, but if you don't have the time for that and you just want to ask someone a question, then this is a great opportunity to do that. Those questions can be submitted in advance to Julie Davis, who is our CFO here at the school district. If you aren't able to submit those questions in advance, or you just want to ask questions during the meeting, that we will also have this meeting streamed live on YouTube, and we will have someone moderating that comment section. So if someone does have a question, you can submit that question via the comment section on YouTube, and we'll make sure that question gets redirected to Julie Davis, or it could be to me, to one of us, to help answer that question during the course of the budget forum. So please participate if that's something you're interested in learning more about, and obviously invite all community partners, local government entities to be involved there as well. And some of those invitations I've gone out personally already, but we definitely invite everyone to be there if that's something you're interested in learning more about. And then one final announcement that I will reiterate from last night is, as a lot of people know, at the end of this school year, Mr. Wickersham, the principal of Elko High School, is retiring. Big congratulations to him. Well-deserved, lengthy career, and excited for him in the next step in his life. We did have to hire a new principal to take his spot going into the 23-24 school year, to lead Elko High School into a new era. And after interviews with central office staff as well as staff from the high school, I'm happy to announce that Mr. John Foss, who is currently a vice principal at Elko High School, has been selected as the new principal for Elko High School. So congratulations to John. Excited about what the future holds for Elko High School and for him. And that is my recap of the board meeting. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.